Okay. So now the first question of discussion, in your own opinion, what costs are involved in maintaining and repairing the water catchment? What costs, based on what I explained and the summary, what do you think are the costs in maintaining maybe a community water catchment and repairing? What are the costs like to maintain it? In your opinion, what can you say? Maybe a hand pump project. It must not be a water catchment project like for a spring. It can be for hand pump installed by, another company like hand pump, or maybe some kind of tap or borehole, yeah, borehole project. So what are the kind of costs that can incur in repairing and maintaining such kind of project, water project in local communities? What do you think? I give, I think 5 minutes. Let's discuss. We move to the next question. Yeah, just free to talk, please. It's a discussion. Any ideas?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Okay. Like the question, what costs are involved in maintaining and repairing the water catchments? Let's say, for example, a borehole.
Yeah.
A general borehole for a community. Okay, as you said, if a community is set up, I don't think the cost will be that expensive maintaining it, because people will take precautions of how they do around the borehole. So I think it will be it will be cost effective. It will be very, very less to maintain if people can just abide by the rules and regulations set up by the committee. So I don't have much to say about that.
Okay, that's good contribution from you. Who again have some contribution to this question?
Okay. From this side, I think during a project like that, especially for the community, we always have the management and maintenance committee, which actually are in charge of that. So the maintenance is actually something that is done by the community, and it is something that each individual is being levied a little part of, or whatever that it costs to maintain the catchment.
Okay, so basically, you guys are okay. You're correct, and I think Mr. Onyes said something also very strong to add up to what the other participants say, which is all good. So, for example, in a project we have for community, sometimes we calculate the expenses with maintenance, like maintenance carried out by technicians. And these technicians are actually local committee technicians, which can keep on maintaining this particular catchment. And we know that we have equipment and that we need to purchase some of this equipment. So sometimes the cost varies, and depending on the technicians which are part of the system in the community to be able to work to see that they can maintain this catchment. So in all sense, all of what you guys say is actually good answer. They are all correct. So it's good. So the second question is, can they afford to keep the catchment? Give some reasons. Can they afford to keep the catchment? When a project is being levied, how sustainable do you think they can do this? How sustainable? This question goes to question 3, which says that if the answer is yes, how could they raise the money needed? So it's almost similar to question. So question 2, can they afford to keep it? Is it yes or no? What's your answer?
For my side, I think yes.
Okay.
The water committee is in charge. The water committee is always, that is one of the first stage of or the second stage of the every catchment project. We have a water committee which is set up before even the construction of the catchment. So they are in charge of that. Yeah. So the community can actually maintain or can keep the catchment. And for the third question, if the answer is yes, how could they try to raise funds? Yeah, that's why they say we have maintenance fee. Water is free in some communities, but we do have yearly maintenance fee or yearly levy that is being charged for everybody to pay in order to do that.
Yeah, it's actually good because we understood that you need to do also what we call for each community. Some communities levy some fees for houses in the community every year. Like in this particular community, in my 16, every household has to pay a particular fee, maybe close to maybe $50, I can say so, per year, to also contribute to maintaining and the rest, to keep the maintenance and of the catchment. Okay, so the fourth question: should people that use water for other domestic purpose pay more, for example, for livestock or vegetable growing, those that are doing farming? Like they have built this catchment and some other people, maybe they are using this water for their poultry farming, this particular water from the catchment that was built. And they are supposed to levy fee for each, like Ms. Riley said, contributions from household every year. So do you think those households or people who actually carry out farming activities and use this particular water, which is meant for the community for drinking, and they use it for their livestock, like poultry farming and pig farming, and then you have also vegetable farming. So how do you think, in your own assessment as an expert in the field, implementing this project, what do you think should be the way forward? What should you put as a measure or as a rule of advice to tackle these particular issues in the community? What can you say? They pay more money than the other people who are not doing farming or the rest?
All right, sir. Okay, sir. About the question, should people use water for people that use water for other than domestic purpose pay more? Yeah, to an extent, I will suggest they pay more but not to a higher range. Like, let's take for example, if they are supposed to pay 200 naira, let me use the Nigeria currency. Sorry about that. If each, let's say each house or each house in the community is supposed to pay 200 naira for maintenance a month. Let's say people that have livestock, definitely most of them might not have it in the house where they live. They might have a different land for it or a different place for it. So I just think they should, if those people that have livestock should pay 100 naira extra. So let's say their total charge would be 300 naira, something that they can afford more better. Yes, I'll just suggest it because as you said, the maintenance fee will range, it will differ. So the more they use that particular point, that particular catchment for water, the more people that uses it, the more maintenance it needs. So the more money you should have for them. That is what I suggest, but not to a very high range, something that they can afford. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's a good contribution. Any other contribution?
Yes, sir. To me too, I think they should pay more. They should actually pay more. Probably maybe they are using the livestock, maybe their own personal business of which they are earning money from it. So they should.
Okay, this is tough. But I think you guys are right. Yes, they should pay, but another point to also solve conflict among the community. You know, when you're dealing with water, you must also be able to know about conflict resolution and in community settings. And you know, not everybody has you in good heart. And so if you put that as a kind of law while you're implementing this project, it might cause some conflict amongst the community members. And this is not a good way of collaboration because you're solving one problem and doing another problem. So in essence, this water, when you're implementing this project, for example, you just need to focus on the fact that the water is for everyone. So it is not to be discriminated of the levy of the fee. And the fee should not be discriminated on how you use it because the water has been built by everybody from the beginning. Everybody contributed. So if you are not doing farming, it should not be your problem if another person is doing some farming, you know. So this is just the main correction. So when you're implementing such project, you are here to solve conflicts and also to building peace and sustainability and friendship among the community members while you're doing the project. I think you understand.
All right, it's noted, sir. It's noted, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so the fifth point, we should collect and handle the money. Like after you've done the project and every year you have to collect money. Who do you think in the community can best handle the money? Is it someone who is the treasurer or maybe a member which is not part of the committee, or maybe part of committee but is not an accountant? What do you think in this kind of case for community project to value water?
Oh, okay, from this side, let me just share an experience I had while working with the water cash, water committee, or trying to do some work with them at Bambili, which is a student environment when I was still a student. They have a cooperative in which the water project has an account, and in that account, all the money is being paid there. And the committee is a committee that actually handles the money. Before any money is being disbursed for any purpose, there must be two people who will actually come to sign that money and use for whatever that is being used, and they actually need to account for this. And that is how they manage their own. So I think if the community does, it will be better and it will be preferable.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I think it's good and very, very good. Excellent. Because why to handle money, for example, in some communities, like very, very typical villages, we don't have access to bank easily. How do you solve this? This is the question. Your answer is correct. Yeah. In some kind of middle, you know, not very typical rural areas, but in some kind of, you know, kind of not really typical areas, but you can have banks around and you can do that management. You can easily have lights. You can collect money at random to implement this project. But what we are talking about, a little community which the bank is difficult to access. You know, the communities really are this right to the end, you know, like really, really, really far places and difficult places to reach. So what do you think? Well, let me just conclude and say, if the community setting which you're implementing this project is kind of difficult to get access to bank and network connections, then it's possible to hand this money to someone which is efficient and nominated, for that matter, by the water committee members for that project. So if anything goes wrong with the money, they will hold themselves responsible, and you, the implementer of the project, will be out of it, you know, to help yourself come out of community company problem. You know, it's a problem with community and company. So it's always like that. So you give the full lead for the people to make their appointment or their election to be able to have who will handle this money. And most importantly, you can give us advice as a company or as an NGO that this person must be someone who has been having, in fact, this person had an experience or have experience in managing accounting or in treasury, you know, treasury field. So this is how it is. That's good. So we have seed question, who should maintain and repair the catchment? Let me just run up with this one. It's very easy. We all know that to maintain the catchment, you might have some community people who are experienced in building or, you know, pipe work, plumbers around. They cannot be involved. This is a question we said about in the first question. And we talk about those people that can actually continue to maintain. But the main thing is that these people sometimes need payments and the rest. So, but actually, you'll be a local person that will be put in charge. For example, if the company cannot access or cannot be there at the moment where there is actually a problem in the community water system, supply system, then that person will be put in charge as a focal point person in maintaining that community water problem. It's a local person, not company person. So that's it. And then we have the seventh question. Who should look after general tidiness around the water point, you know, to avoid water puddles, mud, washing directly close to the catchment, keep animals out, etc. Who do you think can do all this job? Because we are not only talking about maintenance and this one and this one, we're talking about also contaminant control. So who do you think can manage contaminant control in this community? Is there anybody who can say something? If not, then I move to question 8. So question 7 is very simple. For that, we have youth. Youth can be as a point of active people in the community. So you as an implementer of the project, as an NGO, you must also be able to work with youth during the project. So you'll be doing some wash outreach campaigns for awareness, you know, awareness about waterborne diseases and engaging youth, and they become aware about the danger of pollution and the rest. So this is the main key factor in point 7. So you can include the youth at this point, maybe include the women because they are mostly close with water and the rest, and they will be able to have this initiative to always clean up this area. It's just about point 7. So we have point 8. How can the water committee make sure that the water use is kept unpolluted, clean, safe to drink? Almost similar like that. I'm going to say this one. We as Ecolab, this is where we get into more details. If you are supposed to carry out this kind of activities in future, then it shows that these community members have to collaborate with Ecolab. This is what Ecolab started to do. Started some, I think, 2 years back in 2020. We met some chiefs in Cameroon and collaborated. We have these pictures. It's just that there's no time I would have shown you with some chiefs. We discussed with them. These chiefs, we had to make some collaboration and partnership papers.
You know, it's your.
So,
I was for all junction there. I find where I do my class online. They told you what I want to withdraw money.
so please, can you? Okay. So this is the main task for April. So we started doing these collaborations with some community leaders, which are chiefs, for example, you know, in Africa. So we met, I think, 3 to 4 chiefs for different local communities, and we met their water committee groups to talk about partnership with Ecolab. So this point 9 is very, very important. So for them to make sure it is actually safe and clean for drinking, they must carry out their water test regularly, especially twice a year, which we gave up some price or some amount of money, which was very, 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 very affordable than to be able to go and carry out this test to other maybe government or maybe some other private companies, because there are not many companies that do water analysis. It's just a few companies which I know back then, and the amount was really fairly high to do that. But Ecolab came up with a strategy of partnering with local communities so they can make sure their water is actually unpolluted. We can do environmental sanitary inspection and do water testing. So this is why point 8 is very important. So they must collaborate with other organizations to see how to do their tests, to see how to follow up and give them good results about the level of contamination in their water sources. So that's fairly answered, point 8. So we have point 9. Is it important for women to be included in water committee? If yes, discuss your reasons. This is the point now. Somebody now needs to talk. I give the floor to all of you. Everyone needs to say something. Any ideas? Any ideas? Is it important?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, let me just say something short. Like, yeah, my answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, and why from the beginning I can say yes because the training is not limited to any gender, like male only. Is open to everyone that's registered actually. So yeah, I can hear a lady's voice as in answering questions. So I think for a lady to acquire the training, that means she can actually be part of the community.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, yes, also, the community is aim is towards growth over time. So I think different genders have different way they do things, and when we come together and bring ideas together, we'll grow the community faster. I think like that. So I don't know if I'm correct, but that's what I think.
Yeah, no, you're correct. You're correct, and it's good. Any other suggestions? Please, this is a good time to say something. Where is Madame Celestina?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Echo. I will just comment to say, you know, there's kind of right now the world is actually struggling for gender equality.
Yeah.
And inclusion, both the women, the children, the disabled, is one of the main strategic goals as far as everything is concerned. So if a project is there and we are not including women as a part of the water committee, it will be something, and we have actually women who are qualified to be in those posts. It will be a gender bias something.
Yeah.
And I think women who are qualified, as well as men who are qualified, are fit to be included in the committee members.
Good. Yeah, good. Mr. Otner said everything right. Women is good, and women are very good in water management. This is the key point I want you guys to know. Why? Because women are the most gender which are actively involved with water daily, like every day. from their children, from bathing their children, cooking, doing some house chores. They know how to manage water more than men. So it is going to be very, very biased to hold up a water committee or to create a water committee group, a local committee for a local water committee setting that you don't include women. And for any project, I'll repeat, any project which must or needs to be implemented in a community, to set up a committee to monitor this project, you must include women in a ratio of 40% women, 60. Sometimes it might be 50-50 because women know management. They know the key points where you need to put your public taps in the community while you're doing your project, because sometimes we construct, we carry out projects in local communities, and the engineers don't know about management of water. They are all men. They just know that, okay, we'll be here, they calculate distances. They are engineers. What do they know? But they don't know the availability or the accessibility problem faced by children, by women in that community. So this is already a loophole in the aspect of not the engineering side, but also the social aspect while implementing the project. So women cannot be left aside. So keep this in mind, fellow participants, keep this in mind in any project if you are being employed tomorrow. And from this training, you understand that you know the reason why there must be women inclusion and the gender must be equal and gender must be included, women, gender in the project. I think it's clear, like 100% clear. Why? Okay. So now we have the 10th question. Should, in case there is a cholera epidemic outbreak in the community during the period when the catchment was broken, where we sorry, I think this question is okay. It's like, well, where are you going to have your different water sampling collection points and why? So for example, if we, like during this case study, we discovered that after Eco Water implemented, or rather finished building up this water catchment some few weeks ago, after that, this water catchment got broken, the area of the building, so which lead out to leakage, and that was the case. And this question is cited now on the point that, like, what if during that period we had cholera epidemic because of this breakage of the water catchment? So where are you going to start collecting your water sample, and which particular points are you going to collect your water sample for analysis in the lab? This is a very tricky question, and only the brave can pass on to understand from the different courses we have done to answer this question. So where are you going to have your water sampling collection points? Remember, this catchment was built already. The water has been supplied to the community at different public taps, or maybe to some homes, and we had breakage. And during that period, a cholera epidemic outbreak occurred in the community. So where, as an Ecolab analyst, you are being sent to the field during that period of cholera to collect sample for lab, which points are you going to pick up your sample collection, like points, and how? Why are you going to do that? We don't have time, so give me your answer.
Okay, Mr. Ekole, that's actually a smart question. From the lessons, the previous lessons, you see, there's contamination around the taps, but as a water sanitation officer, I think you'll be good that you collect water samples from the source of the water first. Yes. You collect another one maybe at the catchment, and then you collect another one at the tap. So these 3 points should be well noted, because from there you can be able to tell where the contamination is.
Yeah. Probably. This is a good answer. You got it right. Just to do some recap. Yeah, we have 3 points of collection. The first point, like you said, is at the source, which is the water catchment itself. The next point is at some different, you can choose sample locations for the different public taps. You collect at the various public taps, all of the public taps in that community, you collect sample there. And also, you are going to also check some samples from the cases where you're having this cholera, because you know these cases are not like everybody is sick. There are some particular household which the first case we normally be registered. So you are going to go to this household and collect your samples, your water samples, and the neighborhoods around there. We do what we call random sampling. There's this particular course which we are going to do further, and I think that'll be maybe next year, early next year. We are going to host another course, and we'll be talking about how to collect sample instead of this kind of cases, emergency cases. This is a very detailed, also another course which will be very serious. So there's a random sampling method which are going to be learning how to do random sampling in crisis and emergency. So you collect these samples into those houses. From those houses, you collect and also join all of these analyses together and study this. And from the results, you'll be able to actually find out where particularly this contamination came from. It might not be at the source, which is the broken catchment. It might not be at that point. It might be as a result of the water passing through the pipes. As the catchment got broken along the line, there was contamination. So you'll be able to tell. And there are some other points. It might not be also anything related to this water from the catchment. It might be as a result of, household hygiene and sanitation behavior from the people in the house. So maybe they might carry this water and bring to the house, and something happened, some children play around and that. So you'll be able to give your the reason why we have this contamination. I think that's that. Is there any question from anybody or addition? At this point, is there any question?
No, sir, for me, no question. Everything is very clear.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, I would like to add. Thank you very much. I think, Mr. Ekole, this is our last section, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not surprised by the faces I still see, because they were really they really put more effort very exceptionally from the beginning. And it's really good to have each and every one of us here who participated in the training. And I understand that from the questions and from your responses, you got good insights of what the training is all about. I implore you to also go your way to read or research more, because there is no limit to being a researcher. It's part of everyday learning. So it doesn't end with the training. Also go as far as you can to gain more knowledge, understand more about water resource, environmental sanitation. And I'm very sure that when you do this, you will grow both for yourself, for your community, and for the world at large. Once again, it was nice to meet each and every one of you. And I'm sure and I believe that this will take you further from here onwards. Thank you. And thank you once again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tochukwu. And this is a brilliant time. So as for the certificates, I think we discussed that in the group the other time.